Let's talk about the difference between a peripheral vestibular dysfunction and a central vestibular dysfunction. So, peripheral is going to be what it sounds like out in the periphery. That involves your vestibular system, which is your inner ear, and the vestibular nerve that comes off of that system. The central vestibular dysfunctions are going to include the brain and brain stem. So, going back to the peripheral vestibular system, this system is one that can usually be cured, depends on the severity and the exact diagnosis that's going on with it. You can have a hearing loss, which is considered a vestibular loss, a unilateral one sided vestibular loss. You can have a mechanical dysfunction of that ear, that inner ear. So it really does depend on the diagnosis of that inner ear, but by and large, a peripheral vestibular dysfunction is one that usually can be cured. The central dysfunctions are the ones that are going to be the chronic dizziness. Those are the ones that commonly don't have a cure. I have seen people say if somebody says they can cure your central vestibular dysfunction, run away. That's a red flag. I agree with that partially and disagree with it partially. So, we don't have any data, any research to say that it can be cured, a central dysfunction can be cured. But I have heard of and heard from people themselves that no longer have the symptoms of the central dysfunction and are living a completely normal life. Now, that isn't super common. So I don't want you to listen to this and think, that's going to be me. Could it be? Potentially. But by and large, a chronic vestibular dysfunction is one that has to be maintained. The symptoms can get better. You can have many symptom free days. You will have fewer dizzy days, but usually you are still going to have some of those bad days, those setbacks, that non-linear progression, because that is also how life goes, right? We don't have 100% good days all the time. So, a peripheral dysfunction is going to be either a mechanical issue with that inner ear structure itself or a loss or damage to the structure. So, it is a structural issue. Whereas a central vestibular dysfunction is going to be an error, a problem in how the information coming in through the inner ear is interpreted. So, in that situation, the inner ear is actually working fine, but it is how the brain is reading that message that is not fine.